Hello, everyone. I am your host, your KevinlyFather. You're currently watching me on YouTube and or Twitch. Currently, you might be watching me on Twitter. I'm down from Twitter today. Twitter gave me a copyright violation because Sony Music didn't like the fact that 2 years ago, I made a video about Trump getting off the helicopter and it used the Curb Your Enthusiasm soundtrack. Dun 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 dun, which I slowed down to make him seem even slower when he was exhausted getting off the helicopter. Because to be the president takes great stamina. Stamina, which is what he said in the debate with Hillary. They heard me talking about it, and they're poisoning me. Then it was followed by Elizabeth Warren running to give a speech, and I used the Black Eyed Peas, and the bass keeps running, running, and running, running, and running, running, and running, and copyright violation. So, I can't post on Twitter. I don't know whether I'm being shown on Twitter or not. It's being shown through Periscope, which is what Twitter used to be. And so there's no one watching on Twitter. Facebook, it's not working. I don't know what's going on with Facebook. I don't know whether I'm shadow banned on Facebook or not. YouTube, still demonetized. Why do I do this? Because I just enjoy being harmful, let's be honest. So, big day in terms of news media, but really nothing much of any sort of effect. Biden and Putin met. I wanted to cover that live, and then my Twitter went down. Could I make a new account? Yeah, but then I would have absolutely no followers, and it takes forever to build up followers, and blah, 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 blah. But I have you guys. So welcome aboard. This is the live stream. This is what we do. We take news, political content of the day. We comment on it, as many people on YouTube and Twitter do. We use other sources. We're going to take a look at Sean and Hannity. We will not use the entire show. I encourage you, if you'd like to see the content of the show and to assure this for yourself, to watch the show in its entirety on a source that carries Fox News. We will just be using snippets of the show, and we will be opening up a discussion of a political nature, a town hall, if you will, virtually taking a look at those issues, and we will be fact-checking a relevant politician of the day, which is good. This is all part of fair use. So let's get right into it. There will be no Black Eyed Peas songs during today's broadcast. Just FYI, in case you saw that I was broadcasting and you said, I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's going to be a good night. There will be none of that. This is going to be a terrible night, just so you know. And later we might use the C-SPAN footage to explore Biden's answers and questions and stuff today. I listened to a little bit of it. Again, I was being banned. I did go and see our friend Goldie. So that was nice. I had, more importantly than anything that we're going to talk about today, I had barbecue pork from a Chinese restaurant, which I've been craving for a while. And it was good, my friends. Oh, yes, it was good. Let's take a look at some snippets of the Sean Hannity program. We will be stopping and doing political commentary during this time, just so you know.
Thoughts, and I want you to address...
Oh, he's talking to a former blogger, Donald J. Trump.
I'll get to a very specific question, but first,
that is the biggest news of the day. That is something that will affect all of us living in the United States. Juneteenth, which is essentially the day that emancipation is celebrated. It's more complicated than that, but that is the freedom of the slaves following the Civil War, is celebrated on June 19th, is now an official government holiday, which is amazing. And it's the first holiday we've had since Martin Luther King, which Arizona, I don't even know if they celebrate it yet. They lost the Super Bowl. because the players were like, no, we're not going to the one state in 50 that won't celebrate Martin Luther King's birthday. Come on. King Jr., by the way, for those who want to be very specific, because his dad, he had Martin Luther King Jr. That's good. But did he deserve a national holiday? Oh, we don't think so. But Juneteenth is now a national federal holiday. Many companies, including Sony, who just blocked me from Twitter today, they give it off to their employees as well, which is great. And I encourage more companies out there to give your employee that day off, June 19th or Juneteenth, and or whatever. Do the Friday or the Monday. Okay, so we get a 3-day long weekend. Do not do a Tuesday. Ridic. We got to figure it out as a country. When are we celebrating this? When are we recognizing that day? Because really, it's Juneteenth. It doesn't even have to be June 19th. It is, but we can observe it any day. Just like we do President's Day, etc. I don't know if they've decided that yet, but that's how we should do it.
Let's start with your overall thoughts today.
Okay, yeah. Leslie, Colorado. Hey, Leslie's watching on Twitch. Okay, I was going to ask if she was watching on Twitter because I saw another little icon. Leslie's watching on Twitch. Arizona does celebrate. The idiot governor who wouldn't sign Arizona up for it was recalled directly after the Super Bowl thing. So, you might ask, why do sports franchises and leagues get involved in politics? I don't know. Here we go.
Today, and what Biden was
this is Sean Hannity. He's talking to former blogger Donald J. Trump.
facing in Putin, and then we'll move on from there.
Well, I guess the overall is we didn't get anything. We gave a very big stage to Russia, and we got nothing. We gave up.
This is the man who threw a press conference in Helsinki next to Vladimir Putin, shaking his hand, accepting a soccer ball, and saying, I don't see any reason why it would be Russia attacking the election. Dan Coates came to me, and he said, many people from intelligence community came to me, and they said, hey, Russia did bad things. And I talked to President Putin. He denied it very, very strongly. And since it was strongly, I don't see any reason why it would be. Should I play that clip? I don't know. If you guys want to see that clip, let me know. The Helsinki conference was a national embarrassment. But anyway, he gave Putin a stage. But Trump was literally on the stage with Putin. Some people call it Putin. I don't know why.
Something that was unbelievably valuable. I stopped the pipeline, Nord Stream. And
he did not stop the pipeline. Sanctions were issued by the Trump administration regarding the pipeline, which brings natural gas, which will bring natural gas from Russia to Germany and distributed through other parts of Europe. They didn't stop the pipeline. By the time that Biden got in office, the pipeline is 95% complete. We're sanctioning you. Okay. We stopped pipeline? No. Okay. Like, it didn't do anything.
And that
Nord Stream 2. Nord Stream, and because the original pipeline is Macy's, and then they're like, we want to build Nord Stream 2. And they're like, no, you can't. So that's why it's called Nord Stream 2. So you got the Macy's pipeline, which goes to Italy, mostly to pick out good purses and shoes. And then you got the Nord Stream 2.
pipeline was stopped, and it was given back, and nothing was gotten for it. And it was it was another day. And performance art, you'll take a look at how.
Now, a lot of people get it wrong. They pronounce it Nordstrom's. That's wrong. It's just Nordstrom.
Various people performed, namely the two people, and you have to form your own judgment. It's not for me to say.
Let me do a follow-up on that.
It was, I think.
Can you let him speak, please? We're interested in hearing what the former blogger has to say, not the guy who calls the president, for some reason, sippy cup. Still don't get that. I don't. Does Sean Hannity think that old people have a sippy cup before bedtime?
It was a good day for Russia. I don't see what we got out of it.
So you meant
I don't see why it would be a good day for Russia. What I should have said was wouldn't, and I said would. So that's really on you guys for hearing it wrong.
Mentioned Nordstrom. This is an important question because Joe Biden got a recommendation from his State Department. They said, do not grant this waiver. Okay, Joe granted the waiver. He did it while simultaneously, with the stroke of a pen, eliminating high-paying career jobs in the energy sector on the Keystone XL pipeline.
So 38 career jobs. 38 career jobs. So 11,000 jobs over time. Temporary construction position. That's what the Keystone was going to bring us, while pulling in a whole bunch of dirty, dirty oil from the tar sands in Alberta. Okay. So 11,000 permanent construction jobs. Last month alone, there were 10,000 construction jobs that weren't filled because we need more workers. Where do we get workers for construction? Well, a lot of workers for construction, let's be honest, I just met some of them today, may not be in this country legally, or may have come to this country claiming asylum and been given the right to work. That's where a lot of construction workers come from. What are we attacking? We're attacking Joe Biden for getting rid of construction jobs when we don't have enough workers, and we're attacking Joe Biden because more workers are coming into the country. 38 full-time positions is what the fact checkers say, the Keystone XL pipeline. But by the way, it's gone now. It's official. Keystone, up in Canada, the people responsible for the pipeline, it's not Keystone, but that's what they've said, yeah, we're done. We're not doing this anymore.
Then I'm going to take it one more step further. If it was Donald Trump that did everything Joe did.
Oh, by the way, the reason the Nordstrom 2 pipeline is now on its way to completion, which it was anyway because they kept building it, was Germany said, listen, we really need this energy. This is natural gas. This is cleaner than what we're using. We need this pipeline. Is it bad? Does Russia now get a bunch of money? Because, yeah. But you know what? We need energy.
Here. And then it was Donald Trump's son, Don Jr., Eric Trump, that had monies transferred to their company from a Russian oligarch, the First Lady of Moscow. Why do I suspect you'd be accused day and night?
Okay, but again, this is Hunter Biden. But first off, not accurate. Secondly, Hunter Biden. This is his kid. Remember, Grassley and Ron Johnson did an 87-page report and determined that not a single federal policy was affected in any way whatsoever by anything that Hunter Biden did or is accused of doing. Nothing.
Night and day, 24/7, of some type of family enrichment and collusion. I don't know. I think there'd be a lot different coverage. Am I wrong?
Well, you just have to read the news. Look, for 5 years from the day I came down the
God, Trump sounds really low energy. He's probably upset about his blog.
escalator, we have been.
It's now been, what, 6 months? Yeah, more than 6 months that Joe Biden, no, almost 6 months, that Joe Biden has been president. Trump still doesn't have any kind of a media deal. Remember, he always talks about getting this new fantastic platform. They had the blog, and that failed after 28 days. But there's still no This has been 6 months.
Under investigation.
My Pillow guy has his own platform. Salt and Pepper have moved to some platform.
And
Is Parler even around? Hold on, let's check on Parler. Just to... Parler, parler.com. Let me pull it up. And, yeah, it looks like it's there. Okay.
Turned out to be all false stuff. It was a terrible...
That's correct. At random. The escalator was 6 years ago, not 5. That's absolutely correct.
thing.
And judges, it seems like how many? 147 years, according to the judges.
With the Russia, which actually made it difficult to deal with Russia. It was a phony deal created by Schiff and Clinton and all of these people. It was a disgrace, an absolute disgrace that it should happen. And it really was dangerous and very bad for our country. But I guess you probably see it was a few days ago up to 12. and now it's up to 19 different things where we were accused, and it turned out to be absolutely false. Whether it's the Wuhan Han lab, the
Wuhan Han lab, no. This is a list of things that Trump has been making statements about. It's not, oh, it started off as 12, now it's up to 19, because he's thought of 7 more things over the last few days. And it's not him who's thinking of it, it's because he got rid of Jason, whatever his former press guy was. He got mad at him, and he's going to go work in the private sector apparently. So he got rid of that guy who was had a bastard son with another former press spokesman, and he's got a new press spokesman who's a big conspiracy theorist. And so she probably came up with a list of 7 more things. I don't know.
good old Wuhan lab. When I mentioned that, it was like a firestorm. Hydroxychloroquine, now great reviews are coming out.
No, there's no great reviews on hydroxychloroquine. I'll tell you very briefly what's going on with hydroxychloroquine. So there is an unpeer-reviewed, pre-peer review study. And when you release a study, other people in that field of expertise take a look at it, and they review it. That's the peer-reviewed part. So, like, well, this doesn't make any sense, or there's not enough subjects, or whatever. So pre-peer-reviewed, even though this happened back at the beginning of COVID, what they did was they took 200 and, I believe, I'm just going to round the numbers out here, 255 people who were sick enough to be on a ventilator, gave them different mixes of different drugs. Some of them had hydroxychloroquine. Some of them had hydroxychloroquine with azithromycin, I believe. Some of them had different things. So that, again, this is a very brief overview. Just about all of them died. Just about all of them. The ones who got hydroxychloroquine by themselves, a few of them survived. And we're talking like less than 30, I believe. I'd have to go look at the site. I can pull up my Twitter right now, except I'm blocked on Twitter right now, so I can't even access my tweet. But basically, this whole hydroxychloroquine works is a study of only 255 people. And the number of people who survived versus who died is 8 more. That's it. 8 out of 255, and that was with a mix. That's not just hydroxychloroquine. You got the ones with hydroxychloroquine. Most of them died. A few survived, but if you gave them a mix, a few more survived. And so that's, first off, there was no control group. There was no placebo. There was just some who got it and some who got something mixed with something else. And 8 more survived, and 12 more, 15 more, it doesn't matter. That's not enough of a group of study to take out the fact that this could very much well be just coincidental. Meanwhile, you've got massive studies of thousands of people with hydroxychloroquine that all concluded this has no positive effect and may have a negative effect in terms of rapid heart rate, etc. Let's stop with this because we have so many better ways of treating COVID. By the way, we've got some vaccines. So if you don't want to go to the hospital, get yourself a vaccine. Coincidation is, I think, what you call that, Tracy. It's not correlation. It's not causation. It's kind of neither. But it could be. But we don't. Again, it wasn't a big enough study. Very limited. Hasn't been peer reviewed. But okay, good. I'm glad 8 more people or 12 more people or 20 more people survived. The sad part is the vast majority of the people died anyway.
Out on that, they didn't want to see it. I mean, creating a lot of problems and death, frankly, death. And they were willing to do that in order to try and take shots. But it's all coming out.
What? So he was saying that a lot more people died because they wouldn't let them use hydroxychloroquine.
And I think the people understand it. I think that in many ways we're stronger now than ever before. They understand the deception and the horror that these people put this country through. It's really very sad, actually.
Which people, I wonder?
Let me go into this
the press, the enemy of the people? Those people?
Standard issue that I've been discussing here. And that is, we went through 3 years as a country, and I covered it all.
We did go through 3 years as a country. I hope he's got a point here somewhere.
Almost every night. Every major newspaper, 2 cable networks.
Oh, he's probably talking about the Mueller report. That's what I'm betting. I don't know.
That are nothing but Democratic propaganda. ABC, NBC, CBS, they all got it wrong about Trump-Russia collusion.
No, they got it right. It's been absolutely verified. Kalimnik, who was given polling data by the manager of the Trump campaign, has been confirmed to be a Russian intelligence agent. That's collusion. That is 100% collusion. Is it conspiracy? No, they don't have the evidence to prove conspiracy, to charge with conspiracy. I mean, they could charge and see what happens. But Mueller couldn't find a definitive conspiracy charge because the people in the Trump campaign lied. The people in the Trump campaign deleted emails, and the people in the Trump campaign use encrypted data. And then they also pled the fifth. And if you ask anybody, you don't plead the fifth unless you're guilty.
But now we know the truth. We know that Hillary Clinton paid for the dirty Russian misinformation dossier,
which was not used by the Mueller report at all.
That even Christopher Steele doesn't stand by, and the subsource doesn't stand by. That dossier she paid for was then used to spy on you as a candidate.
It was not. It was not. That dossier was used in order to spy on Gilligan, and Gilligan had been fired already by the Trump campaign. The investigation started in October. He was fired in September. So Carter Page was not part of the Trump campaign.
And a FISA court was lied to. And then it was used again to spy on you as in your transition phase and then as a president.
No, it wasn't.
And we also know that money from Russia made it to a prominent political family in America. That would be Hunter Biden's.
That would be the Trump family. Same thing with China. Millions and millions coming out of China to the Trump family. Yes.
Family. That would be Joe's son. Now, again, I ask you, that wasn't the coverage for 3 years while you were in office, actually 4 if you want to include Ukraine.
No, there was lots and lots of coverage of that. Way too much coverage for something that A, probably never happened, B, didn't matter.
What do you make of the double standard? Some people even get Pulitzers over such phony coverage.
Well, they did get Pulitzers, and it turned out to be they got Pulitzers for absolutely incorrect and opposite reporting. It was
that's not a thing. Opposite reporting is not a thing.
Horrible reporting.
I take that back. OAN. I just watched 5 minutes of OAN. Opposite reporting is a thing.
And there are many people that should have gotten Pulitzers where they had it right, but they were not considered, and it's a disgrace. I think Pulitzer is another one that's been disgraced by this whole last 4.5-year period.
Yeah, you better call up John Pulitzer and tell him he's disgraced now.
5-year period. But literally from the day of that wonderful ride down the escalator, from that moment on,
what about with the beautiful First Lady? What's going on? Where's Melania? If he doesn't mention Melania here, they're in a riff.
Investigation after investigation, and the people that were guilty,
something's going on with him and Melania. He always, when he talks about that wonderful ride, that beautiful ride, that magnificent ride down the escalator with that beautiful future First Lady, always mentions her. Yeah, something's going on with him and Melania. He just had his birthday party. Was Melania there? Is she even in New Jersey right now? Or wherever he is, New York, wherever he is right now. He's still in Jersey, isn't he? I don't care. At Random wants to know how the painting is going, Jojo. How's the painting going, Jojo?
They just float right through. How it wasn't done. DOJ didn't do anything about it. I guess they felt they want to be soft. This group doesn't feel that way, but you know what? I
lost. I don't know what he's saying.
Let that up to DOJ. I let that up to the people running DOJ, and I wasn't involved. I would say
he is such low energy right now. Everything he's saying is any. Just listen to his cadence. Something's going on. Is he dead? Has anyone heard? Is he dead?
That probably maybe less involved than I should have been. Maybe I should have been forcing it, but a lot of very guilty people were.
I got a thumbs down for my day-old beard. This is not a day. Thank you, by the way. This is like a week to 2 weeks. I got to shave it anyway. I have an audition for a doctor, so I mean, audition to play a doctor. I'm not auditioning for a doctor. So, what brings you in today, Mr. Williams? Why don't you go ahead and slate and give us your agency?
Not in any way prosecuted. And I'm talking about very, very serious things. If you look at Comey and McCabe and the two lovers and all of the things that went on, and they weren't prosecuted. If you read the Horowitz report, yeah. And, of course, everyone's still waiting for Durham. What happened to Durham? How is that allowed to go into another administration?
By the way, is he...
But wait. Can we let him finish about the Horowitz report? I want to hear what he says about the Horowitz. Oh, wait, did he change topics mid-sentence? Oh, the horror. Why would any president do that? Oh, that's right. Earlier in your same broadcast, you criticized Joe Biden for doing that, which, by the way, he wasn't doing. It's every time they go after Biden for being senile and incoherent, he makes perfect sense.
The witness protection program? I'd like to know where he is, too. Is he in the witness protection program? I don't know. He disappeared.
To be gone, and they were so, but you didn't even have to go into.
They were so. You guys were so. You guys were the one who kept saying, "Wait till the Durham report comes out. Oh, it's going to show some terrible things." Now they're like, "Oh, what's wrong with Durham? He's in witness protection." You can't just wait for things that are never going to do anything. Wait till August and you're president again. Then you can find out what's going on with Durham.
You could have just taken the Horowitz report, and I have a lot of respect for Mr. Horowitz, the IG, and he wrote a report that was devastating to Comey and devastating to McCabe, and they didn't do anything with it. It's incredible, actually. Incredible. Very sad. They're very sad for the country, but, I guess they felt they shouldn't, and yet...
You're being prosecuted, Mr. McCabe, for lacking candor. We have 3 charges of a lack of candor.
This administration feels the exact opposite. If people don't do anything wrong, they want to go after them. Big difference. And it's...
What? Like, this administration, people are upset because this administration won't tell the DOJ to go after people, to do anything.
It's a tough standard, but hopefully you have an attorney general now that will be fair. But I will say that the people running the Justice Department and the people in it, don't forget, you have...
Okay, an attorney general that will be fair. Are you saying that Bill Barr wasn't fair? Because Bill Barr, remember, left. He's like, I'm not going to get involved with this election mess. Doesn't appear to be any fraud that we found. And then he packed up and left. Got to spend more time with my family. It's universal coding for fuck this shit.
Tens of thousands of people, and they were put there by...
and then, of course, the acting AG, the next AG, would not touch this. And the group running the DOJ after Barr left called this whole election nonsense pure insanity. Mark Meadows, the chief of staff of Donald Trump, sent a YouTube link from some conspiracy theory that Italy was changing the voting machine in the United States using satellites. They looked at that. They called it pure insanity. But the president's chief of staff, Trump's chief of staff, I like that better, wanted the Italian satellite switching Dominion voting machines conspiracy theory investigated by the Department of Justice.
By Obama. They were put there by everybody. They were put there by a lot of people that came, including Clinton. But they were also put there by Bush. And, you see what goes on with that whole group. So you have a lot of people put in there by Bush and Clinton. You put there by Obama, and then you...
Yeah, because they're appointees. That's how that works, though.
Put some in yourself, and you can't do anything about it, I guess. I don't know. But I think that they were very, very soft, and maybe rightfully so, but they were very, very soft, and probably they wanted to be very fair. But a lot of people don't look at it that way. It's a shame. There was such guilt and such a horrible thing happened. They were spying on my campaign. You know, if you think about it, all the way back, almost at the beginning, when I made a statement that my campaign was spied on, it was one of the biggest moments. It was nobody could believe it. Then it turned out that it was more than spied on, much worse than being spied on.
What? First off, what? And secondly, what?
But they didn't do anything about it.
What's worse than being spied on? Being double spied on.
And to me, that's a terrible thing for our country.
I don't see that Biden got anything from
Country seems to be doing just fine.
Putin. And I can't believe that American energy workers were with a stroke of a pen, lost their high-paying career jobs.
38 of them. Yep.
For the same exact thing.
So that we could bring foreign oil, so we could be energy dependent on another country. That's what the Keystone, make no mistake about it. Keystone Oil was Canadian oil. Canada is, and this is true, another country. They are foreign. It was to increase our dependence on foreign oil.
The waiver that Biden gave on Nord Stream, I can't believe it. Let me ask you this. If you were still president, would you have given that waiver? And secondly, what would you be doing about the cyber attacks that are ongoing? Colonial
Solar winds. The 7 government agencies that were hacked during your presidency that you didn't do anything about. But if you were still president, what would you be doing about them?
pipeline, the attack.
By the way, I have some leftover barbecue pork from lunch with Goldie. It's taking all I have not to just drop these headphones and go finish them, because now it's dinner time and I'm hungry again. Just this is what I do for you people. And what do you do for me? You have me blocked on Twitter, and you have me blocked on YouTube, and you
on our meat industry. How would you be handling that with Putin?
Well, you got to be very tough, but you know what? Vladimir's a really good guy.
Waiver, nobody really understands that I was the one that stopped it. I stopped it from being built, and I went to Germany and I said, listen, we protect you with NATO at a very low cost, and they're very delinquent. You know, they're only paying half of what they're supposed to be paying, and what they're supposed to be paying is very low, 2%, and they're paying half. And so we protect you. We have 52,000 soldiers over there, which is like a major, major city, frankly. They make a fortune with us. And then they go and they pay Russia billions and billions of dollars for energy. So I said, so let's get this straight. Tongala. I said, we protect you.
Tongala. That's a country in Africa. There was a guy from Tongala who came all like greased up, holding the flag, and the internet went nuts for the Olympics. Do you remember that?
And the people that we protect you from, the country, you're paying billions of dollars. How does that work? And
well, they need energy. They don't have the resources. They're trying to get away from the coal, and the natural gas is cleaner than coal. They're trying to solve this climate change crisis that you ignored, that you pulled out of. Remember that whole Paris Climate Agreement? Russia stayed in it. You didn't. You pulled out of it. You and North Korea. That was it.
There are others. So I got NATO to pay $430 billion more than they were paying, because the United States was paying for almost all of it. I mean, think of it. We pay for their protection, and they, excuse the word, they screw us on trade. That's the only word that's really descriptive enough, because they are in many ways worse than China or as bad as China on trade. How many Chevrolets are being sold in Berlin? Not too many. How many Chevrolets are being sold in Paris? Not too many.
Yeah, because you put tariffs on European goods instead of negotiating for them to drop the tariffs on the American cars. See? That's all right.
Maybe none. And
so you didn't solve the problem. Remember when you tariffed everything? It didn't solve anything.
Yet we sell their products, their wines and their cars and their Mercedes and their BMW.
The Mercedes and BMWs are cars. Those are cars.
And everything else, we sell it all over our country. And all
yeah, because our consumers demand it. Okay. Some people like Mercedes-Benz. Some people are assholes and they like BMWs. Either way, it's all good. Actually, I got to say that the BMWs, the electric BMWs are very exciting. I know JoJo wants to get herself one of those little moon buggies, those BMWs, the i3, I think it is. Whatever it is. And they're cool little cars. Think about that. If you see one of those moon buggies and you can get, I don't know, like 80, 90 miles of range on the electric motor. The electric motor. Then there's a generator in there too that runs on gasoline. If you get the extended range one, right? And if you run out of the electric battery, the generator starts charging the battery. It's not a motor like in a standard car. It's a generator that then charges the battery, and you get about 40 miles more. Here's the cool thing. You can hack the computer, and you can get 80 miles out of that little generator powering the battery. It's really amazing. One of the goalies on my hockey team has one of those things. It's big enough for his goalie gear. It's big enough for him, and he's 6'7" or 6'8", and he's got it hacked so he gets more than 80 miles. So if you wanted to go somewhere, if you wanted to go on a road trip or whatever, totally works to just charge up the battery, and then once you run out of that, every 80 miles or so, which is an hour's worth of driving, less than an hour's worth of driving, pull over, fill up the tank again, get back on the road. i3, yeah, Joanna wants one of those i3s. They're cool little putt-putts. They're like really, really neat golf carts. And they're nice inside because they're BMWs. Anyway, Trump doesn't want us buying those.
All of that was stopping. We were ready to go. And then we got hit by the pandemic. And nobody did as good a job with the pandemic as we did. And that's why we're leading the world in terms of coming back. And that was all set long before Biden came in.
We did the worst job, almost, on the planet of fighting the pandemic. The absolute worst, almost, job of fighting the pandemic. We lost today's figure. Oh, hold on. I updated this. Let's do this live, folks. Fuck it. We'll do it live. Here's the latest. Watch below me here. Or watch over right here. Here we go. These are the latest numbers. Here they come. 616,000 dead. 616,145 dead. By far, even with all of the variants in India having a much larger population catching up with us at some point, maybe. Remember Brazil was going to overtake us? They haven't. Remember India was going to overtake us? They haven't. Still, by far, the worst job on the planet of doing the whole pandemic. I think that's what he said, doing the pandemic, handling the pandemic, whatever he said.
Including the fact that we came up with vaccines in less than 9 months when a lot of people...
You know what country did that, actually? Germany. Germany came up with the Pfizer vaccine first. That was the first vaccine approved. Beyond that, actually, no, the Russians came up with the vaccine almost immediately, and it works. The Chinese vaccine, not so effective. Like 50% effective, better than nothing effective. Speaking of percentages, so I have a friend, and his fiance is fully vaccinated. I think Pfizer. I should double check that. I believe it's Pfizer. Anyway, that friend, his fiance, ended up getting COVID, which makes sense. Because you're protected from getting the virus about 93 to 95%, somewhere in that territory, depending on the study that they've done in the real world, etc., depending on the variant, etc. Anyway, she caught COVID because she had dinner and drinks with some friends and just assumed they had been vaccinated. They hadn't been vaccinated. They gave her COVID. And now apparently today she's quite ill. She's lost her sense of taste and smell as well. So it is, it's supposed to keep you from being hospitalized, and we can certainly hope that that's the case. But even if you've been vaccinated, still avoid people, especially if they haven't been vaccinated. Now, if the people have been fully vaccinated, your odds of catching anything are extremely low. Will she end up in the hospital? Probably not, no. Very, 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 very low percentage chance of being hospitalized. Your chance of, so if you look at Israel, if you look at Spain did a study on it, if you look at the studies they've done in the United States, you get yourself vaccinated with Pfizer or Moderna. Johnson & Johnson, different situation. Okay, well, let's do them both. You got yourself your mRNAs. Those are the Pfizer, Moderna. You got yourself your J&J, your Johnson & Johnson, okay? So these two, 95%, you're not going to get COVID. This one, Johnson & Johnson, like 2/3 of the time, you're not going to catch the COVID, okay? So you're still going to get the COVID. You're going to get mildly ill. They haven't really figured out exactly how many here with the Johnson & Johnson. With Pfizer, you're going to get mildly ill 1 to 3% of the time. You're going to get seriously ill, in other words, requiring hospitalization, pretty much 0% of the time with both of them. You're going to die infinitesimal, 0.00008, at least we know with Pfizer. The number of people who've actually died after receiving the Pfizer vaccine officially from COVID. It's still a possibility. What I'm saying is, hang out with people who are vaccinated. The Delta variant, though, all the vaccines seem to be quite effective against the Delta variant. There are breakthrough infections. The Delta variant as well seems to affect the young people, just loves the kids. So basically just continue your social distancing. I'm not going to go eat inside a restaurant. I'm just not going to do it. Why? Because someone in my circle of friends, someone who's a lovely young lady, actually she's exactly my age, but I'm old. She's not. Oh, and by the way, people who get sick, they're obese. Okay, this friend of mine runs 9 miles a day on the treadmill to start her day. I'm not exaggerating. She's one of those people just gets that runner's high. She gets up at 4 a.m. and she runs 9 miles on the treadmill. And yes, she is very slender. She's in fantastic shape. She is whatever the opposite of obese is, but still very healthy. Whatever we call people like that. Yes, we hate them. We hate them with a passion because they're better than we are. But we can taste and smell. So, do not run on a treadmill. You will lose your taste of sense and smell. Taste and sense of smell? Sense of smell and taste. I'm kidding around, of course. We are, keep her in your thoughts and prayers. And also, just hope, because it's the same thing. Tracy B says there's also a high incidence of, by the way, this is one of those times that you could use incidences. Okay? There's also a high incidence of long COVID among originally asymptomatic people. Yes. Yeah. So you still, even if you're vaccinated, you do still want to avoid places where you can catch COVID. It's very, very low odds, but you don't want it, is what I'm saying. Should you be wearing a mask? No. Mask is not going to help you. Never has. Has it helped keep people from being sick? Yes, because it helps contain the spread. Does it help stop the spread to you if you're wearing the mask? Yes. Not a ton. And by the time you do the math of if you've been vaccinated, etc., social distance, yes. Stay away from people who haven't been vaccinated. Don't go to a movie. Don't go eat inside a restaurant with people who aren't vaccinated. Don't go to a hockey rink with people who haven't been vaccinated or people who are unmasked. So, by the way, 2 days ago, I think, or yesterday, whatever day it was, the 15th. It's now so since yesterday. California, you don't have to wear a mask in stores anymore. We've reached that point because of the positivity rate being the best in the nation. But everybody is. I went to Home Depot today. Masks. Everybody. Grocery store, mask. Okay. But no, you don't see anybody like complaining about it. Everyone's kind of, a lot of people are now not wearing their masks in the parking lot because it doesn't make any sense one way or the other. But people carry their masks up and then you see them put it on. Oh, Universal Studios. I took a Kevinly daughter to Universal Studios yesterday to the parking lot to use the bathroom. Okay? So that's just, anyway, that's all she did. She used the bathroom and then she came back to the car and then we left because that was the most accessible bathroom in the area that we knew of. That was a good bathroom. She has a pass to Universal Studios, so we could get into the parking lot without paying, and it's a good bathroom. It makes sense, right? Because you go to Starbucks and there's somebody in there and she really had to go, then you got to wait for them, and then there's 2 people in line, and then you got to ask for the key.
everybody said it was going to take 3 to 5 years and you probably wouldn't be successful.
But oh yeah, by the way, we're covering snippets of the Trump interview with Sean Hannity is what we're doing right now. And we're talking about good bathrooms to use in North Hollywood.
Successful. And if we weren't successful, Sean, I'll tell you this, you would have another 1917.
1918! Is that 105 times now?
Tragedy where almost 100 million people died. But
it's just so amazing that as many times as he said it, nobody he's talking to ever corrects him. In 104 at least times that he said 1917 instead of 1918, nobody has ever corrected him, not once. It's a simple correction. Now, when Newsmax did an interview with him, which we watched a couple of weeks ago, the news article about the interview corrected him. They just put 1918. In quoting him, they put 1918. They know. But the host at the time, no correction.
We were successful.
But what do I know? Newsmax thinks I'm a devious liberal.
So it was a great thing.
Hey, somebody look at Twitter. Am I Steve? Can you see my profile on Twitter, or am I completely down? Like, I can't even look at my own profile on Twitter. At KevinlyFather. Somebody check out Twitter and see if, let's see if anyone is watching from Twitter. Nope, still 0. So I don't think I'm actually being shown on Twitter.
Let me ask you, in your summits and in your conversations with Putin while president, what did you learn about him? Have you spoken to him since you left office? And was it a mistake for Biden not to hold that joint press conference with Putin?
Yes, they corrected the quote. They could have put 1917 sick. This is, in other words, that's what the person says, but we know this is an error. They just corrected it to 1918. They just made it 1918 in the quote. I exist on Twitter. Okay, I can't post. I can't see Twitter, but I exist on Twitter. Cool. Wait, on the Twitter page is, but if you look at my Twitter profile, if you look at my Twitter, there's the top thing should be this broadcast. Is it being broadcast through? It probably isn't because nobody's watching, and usually there's dozens, thousands and thousands of people watching from Twitter. I can't access my Twitter page. So it looks like my Twitter page is still there. I can't access it until I agree to copyright restrictions and stuff like that. Because I used a Black Eyed Peas song in a video 2 years ago. Which I get. That's a copyright thing. I get that. I have no problem with it. I haven't bothered to deal with it today. I've been too involved with barbecue pork.
I got along really well with him. Nobody was tougher on Russia. He would say that, but nobody was tougher on Russia. You never heard of Nord Stream. You never heard.
Oh, he says it properly. He says Nord Stream.
Of all of the things that we did in terms of sanctions, so many.
But it's Nord Stream 2. But anyway, so half right. He just said Nord Stream 1. 50% right. Judges agree.
These sanctions. And I was loving the idea of taking them off. I would have loved to have taken them off as soon as they got their act together. I think we had a great shot at having an unbelievable relationship with Russia.
Thanks, babe.
It could have been fantastic. It could have been really beneficial to both countries. They needed.
If I just had one more term, I could have had a great relationship with Russia. Vladimir Putin would have turned it around and stopped killing everyone.
Economics, and we need things that they have, where they have very valuable land in terms of mineral rights and many other things. And a lot of good things could have happened. I had a very good relationship with Putin, but nobody treated him tougher. He understands. Nobody ever heard of the pipeline until I got involved. And I said, wait a minute, the pipeline's going to Germany and all over Europe. What's going on? Why are we
No one ever heard of it. It was kept secret.
Protecting you people, again. And it was just unbelievable. I got so much for that. And to give up the stoppage, I stopped it.
What? You got so much for it. What did you get? What is he talking about?
And to give it up. And then if you see what they did, and the number is really 48,000.
There's him giving the speech. Washington, January 6th. Why are they showing his speech from January 6th? And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. Now, everyone, get on I want you to go on an illegal march because we don't have the permit for a march and you need a permit to march on the streets. I want you to march down Pennsylvania Avenue and I want you to fight like hell. And don't even worry about the ones who are going to be weak. Go tell them, go do that. Go right to the Capitol. The Capitol grounds are fenced off right now. You're not allowed on the Capitol grounds. I want you to go onto the grounds anyway, peacefully. I want you to break through the police lines peacefully. And I want you to let them know that you're mad as hell and you're going to fight like hell.
Not 8,000. But you see what they did with the
What?
Keystone XL.
Hold on.
So much for that. And to give up the stoppage, I mean, I stopped it. And to give it up. And then if you see what they did, and the number is really 48,000, not 8,000. But you see what they...
Okay, it's 11,000. It's talking about construction jobs. With the temporary construction jobs associated with Keystone XL. If you say like, oh, restaurants along the way will make more money because the construction eaters will eat at the restaurants, you can extrapolate that out to 48,000. You can extrapolate. By the way, 8,000 is not the number at all. It's 11,000. But anyway. But again, the whole goal was to increase our energy dependence on foreign oil.
They did with the Keystone XL pipeline, where they stopped it almost on the first day, and that was never...
This is a speech from January 4th in Dalton, Florida, where he said, hey, everybody, you got to vote for the Republican senators because we can't let the Democrats take over with the socialism, and they both lost. That's it. He flew down to Georgia to give a big rally in Dalton. They're showing that footage. This is like talking to a Buffalo Bill and showing the wide right kick in the Super Bowl over and over again. Let's talk about your career, Jim Kelly. You were a fantastic quarterback. Might I say the best quarterback Buffalo has ever seen. And certainly Buffalo's seen some great quarterbacks in their day. Just the wide right over and over. I don't know if there's any sports ball fan, but wide right, if you're a sports ball fan, you know what wide right is. But Buffalo lost the Super Bowl because the field goal kicker he put it wide right. And the people of Buffalo, if you're watching Buffalo, I'm sorry. I feel badly for you. Buffalo lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. 4 chances of winning the Super Bowl. Blew every single one of them. Wide right. And here's for the win. Wide right.
The debate, I kept saying, you're not going to be energy independent. You're not going to do for Pennsylvania.
You're not going to be energy independent. You're going to stop oil from other countries. What?
For Texas, for all of these places where we're doing so well with energy, we're not going to be energy independent in 2 months from now.
This is the speech where he talked about the election being rigged. It's that he really won by thousands and thousands of votes. The one where he rambled so much that they made like serious cuts from front camera to side camera over and over again, where he's just like, what? That's like mid-sentence.
They're making windmills all over the place to ruin
There are no windmills, they're wind turbines.
our land and kill our birds, to kill everything.
That's the motive, to kill the birds. This is West Point. This is which one? This is the football game. He's at the West Point football game.
Going to be, and they're very intermittent, as you learned from watching over the last 4 months. It's intermittent energy. It's not good. It's not going to power our great factories, and it's a real.
What did you make of?
Problem.
Yeah, there was a question of what. There was a question of whether Ukraine would join.
This is where he announced the vaccines. This is the one. They're like Friends episodes. This is the one where he announced the vaccines are going to be approved, but that they held them. The FDA held on to them until after the election so that Trump would lose the election. That's this episode. Just everything. Remember what it was like on a daily basis, going like, "Oh, what the hell is good today?" Yeah, and every day. It was something completely insane. Let's do this. Let's go to the beach. Oh baby, let's go to the beach. Let's do this. Let's go to the Trump Twitter database. This is a fun Twitter archive. Yeah, the Trump Twitter archive. The Trump archive. And you can do it by date. So we're going to go date filter. And we're going to do, we're on the June 16th. So we're going to do June, let's tap June 16th. But let's go back to 2019 and see what craziness was going on. And the same thing, we'll just do 2019. Can I paste? Yeah. Okay, so is that done it for us? No tweets found. 2019, 6/15. I'm going backwards here. Let's go to 6/16. Okay. No, 15 through 16. No? This is, come on, 16. From 15, yeah. Okay, it went to 14. I'm not even doing that, but here we go. Okay, let's go. Thank you, Senator Mitch McConnell, for understanding the Democrats' game of not playing it straight on the ridiculous witch hunt hoax in the Senate. Crying Chuck will never stop. Did Senator Mark Warner ever report speaking to a Russian? Remember a Russian, a radio show, a fake radio show called up Mark Warner? Was that Mark Warner or was that somebody else? Whatever it was. It's all. The radical left Dems are working hard, but the people are much smarter. Working hard, thank you. And I think there was a picture of him there, like sitting at the desk with papers with nothing on them. I think that was that one. Oh, we can't see these anymore. So wait, maybe we can. I want to see if that's actually the tweet that I remember, because somebody will have saved that tweet as an image. Let's see if we can find it. Images. Come on, people. You're better than this. What good is the hive mind if they can't find this for me? Here we go. Nope, that's something out about the radical left. Let's just do Trump working hard, thank you. Thank you, working hard. Best president ever, thank you, working hard. That's not it either. Anyway, if I'm remembering correctly, but if I'm remembering incorrectly, who the hell cares? Okay, that's a retweet, so that doesn't count. The dishonest media will never keep us from accomplishing our objectives on behalf of the great American people, hashtag mega. And then he was voted out. Okay. Okay, what happened to, there he is.
NATO. And Biden's answer is they have to clean up corruption. And,
yeah.
Okay, so they can't join NATO.
Just about Ukraine joining NATO, and Biden's response was, yeah, if they follow the guidelines. They still have a lot of corruption to clean up. Remember, Obama sent him to the Ukraine and said, we got to get rid of the AG that they have, and we're going to withhold not the aid, but we're going to withhold the guarantee of the loan from the International Monetary Fund of about $1 billion unless you fire this guy, because he's not investigating. You need him to investigate the corruption in your country. Your country is rife with it. Then the people elected President Zelensky on a mandate to clean up the corruption. The Ukraine is full of it. But anyway.
No, because they got to clean up corruption. But his son made a fortune.
Thank you, Shelley.
And he leveraged $1 billion and bragged about it of U.S. tax dollars.
No, they weren't U.S. tax dollars. It was a loan guarantee. There were no tax dollars involved. None. This was money from the International Monetary Fund. Now, you could say, where does the International Monetary Fund get its from? Yeah, some of that is from the United States taxpayers. Yes, absolutely. But let's be honest, that money's really from China because we're borrowing it right now.
And this is a big issue to you because you went over.
And also from the World Bank. But anyway.
Over an impeachment over this. Leveraged $1 billion to get a prosecutor in Ukraine fired.
Yes.
He's got 6 hours to.
Because he wasn't investigating corruption.
Do it, and son of a bee, they did it.
Right.
Now,
you can say bitch.
I'm just imagining if they're too corrupt to join NATO, How come it's okay then for Hunter to make all that money when he admitted on Good Morning America he had no experience in energy, gas, Ukraine?
Okay, but he's a lawyer, and they hired him for, hold on, to be a lawyer, to represent them in legal matters. They hired him to represent them in legal matters. And he was what? He had no experience as a lawyer? No, he had experience. He's got a degree. He worked at a law firm. Okay, all right. It's not like they hired Hunter Biden to go out and work the rigs. We'll give you $1 million if you go work those rigs, please. I don't know how to do it. Just go. Come on, you're Biden's kid. Go.
And got millions of dollars. What if your son's got millions of dollars for that with no experience?
Well, when he said that,
Well, neither of his sons have a law degree. I mean, not even close. They probably both have degrees in business from somewhere.
I was very surprised that he said it, because he said basically Ukraine is corrupt. And that was the whole purpose of what was going on.
They all look so happy. This is Trump right in the center. No smiles on anybody's faces.
Going on, and frankly, we had an obligation, even a legal obligation. You know, we have an agreement signed with Ukraine, and that agreement says you got to be honest. You got to run a straight country, and they don't do that. And when I saw that statement, I was surprised, because I guess you hear different numbers, but it's $183,000 a month for his son to consult on energy from an energy company in Ukraine, to consult on energy, but
to consult on legal matters. He's a lawyer.
He admits that he knows nothing about energy. The whole thing is...
Okay, but he knows about the law. I'm sure that Burisma hires a plumber when they have a blocked up toilet. But he knows nothing about energy. Well, can he fix toilets? Yeah. Okay, well then let's get the plumber.
Just terrible. The money from Russia.
I wish I'd gone with Trump had a plumber at the White House when he clogged things up, even though the plumber doesn't have a degree in politics. Trump doesn't have a degree in politics.
$3.5
Now we got a picture of Hunter, because Hunter.
$1 million.
I'm convinced by this point, if the laptop is real, etc. I just feel terrible for voting for Hunter.
From the wife of the mayor.
Should have voted for Don Jr. I feel like a moron.
Mayor of Moscow, the former mayor of Moscow. What? Remember, I asked that question, and your very dear friend, Chris Wallace, said, no, you can't ask that question. I said, I want to know, why is the mayor of Moscow's wife paying him?
I don't remember Chris Wallace saying, no, you can't ask that question. Should we go down that rabbit hole? We can, if you guys want to. Not too interested, but if somebody wants to, we'll go see what Chris Wallace said about Hunter Biden. No, you can't watch. Sir, excuse me, sir, respectfully, sir, you can't ask that question. Sir, if I may, sir.
$1.5 million. And Chris Wallace protected him because he couldn't answer the question. So Chris Wallace protected him. Good old Chris Wallace. He'll never be Mike. And
No, Mike's his dead father. Oh, Leslie wants to go down. At random says no. We'll go no for now, unless there's an overwhelming. Well, maybe I'll look it up later, Leslie, on another broadcast. We got to get through this first. Holy smokes! It's almost 8 o'clock. Okay, it's 2 against 1 now, so we won't go down that rabbit hole right now. But now I'm curious. But we don't even have to be curious, because we know if we go down that rabbit hole, we're not going to see Chris Wallace going, no, sir, no, you can't ask that question. Cindy says yes. No, it's 2-2.
Let me ask this then.
I don't know. We're just gonna okay. Says so now, Leslie. It's now 3 against 1. Sorry, Cindy. You guys are gonna have to sort this out amongst yourselves.
This is what we go through. Yeah. We no longer have a fair and free press.
By the way, I just got to say, I enjoy having you guys in the chat room. I am glad. Oh, Beast Mode's a maybe. Judges? Yep, they're in for maybe. So we got 5 votes for maybe from the judges. Marcy says yes. Now it's 3-2 and 6 maybes. I just got to say, I enjoy having you guys in the chat room. I could be doing this by myself. Would I be doing this by myself? No, I would still be napping. Oh, I would be eating barbecue pork. Okay, what were we doing? Yeah, I don't even care. Heat up that pork for me. There's nobody here. I wonder if Kevinly's daughter would heat up meat for me. She's a vegan. I wonder if I was running late or something, and I called her and said, "Hey, listen, do me a favor. Can you put the barbecue pork in the?" Or if I said, "Hey, I'm really hungry and I don't have any food. Could you slaughter a pig in the backyard for me and then put it on the barbecue for me because I'm late. I'm running late for work. If I had like a job." I wonder if she would do that. I wonder if a vegan would slaughter a pig for me if I needed it, like if I wanted pork belly. I wonder.
Do you like it or not?
What do you guys think? Maybe?
And I hate to say it to you because you're a big believer in the...
Wendy says yes. Philharmonic says no. All right, back to whatever's going on here.
Press, despite what you go through.
Okay, so it's a picture. We're zooming in closer to a picture of Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. And I don't know, one of Joe's granddaughters? I don't know who that is. It's a kid. That's fine.
But we no longer have a free and fair press.
I said in 2007.
Okay, here's Joe Biden and his son enjoying maybe a basketball game or something with Barack Obama. Are they like, what are they trying to make them look evil here? Like, oh, they're in the same family. Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, coincidence?
Sir, I wish I came up with fake news, but I did say journalism in America is dead, and I don't think I was wrong. I think
he has said that many, many times. He's a journalist. Just absorb that.
I probably understated it. Let me ask this.
By the way, for those of you that were around for Books and Bricks and did an amazing job and raised more money during a pandemic than they've ever raised before with our telethon, once again, thank you for your generosity. It overwhelms me. Secondly, I'm going to go get some barbecue pork. No, on a serious note, they want me to host another telethon thing. So we're going to do that at some point. And my father had suggested to them, why don't you have the dinner and the telethon? Maybe I'll be doing the telethon from the dinner. I don't know. I don't know what their plans are. They sent me all kinds of emails asking me questions, and I just I don't even read them. It's like, just tell me what you want to do. Once you guys decide, just tell me what you want to do. Anyway, so that's big news. So booksandbricks.org. If you have a little bit of money that you don't want right now, booksandbricks.org, and you can donate anytime. Doesn't have to be during the telethon, or you can put it aside into a Christmas account and make Christmas whatever day we do the telethon. No, I'm good. I don't need my barbecue right now.
Because last week, Joe Biden said to our military that global warming was the biggest threat they faced. No.
The military told him, the Pentagon told him that it was the biggest physical threat facing the United States was climate change. So I mean, if you're going to accuse him of something that you think is ridiculous, at least use the narrative. Like, you can just think that's ridiculous all in and of itself. You can just... So, Joe Biden said to the soldiers, hey, I've been to the Pentagon, and the leaders tell me that the biggest physical threat to the United States is climate change. Why? Because there will be war for resources. Okay? Countries have a lot of people. Climate change will make it so there's not enough food for everybody. There's not enough water for everybody. It's too hot for everybody. People die. When there's a fight for resources, you get a war. And the United States gets involved in wars. Okay? That's where the military comes in. That's why they know that, for example, California at some point will run out of water. We're desperately low already this year. Which is fine because it means I get to play more tennis for you Americans, because it hasn't rained a whole lot this year. So, on the one hand, record That's all we've got is record doubt in this country. Doubt has never been higher, especially in California.
Before he had said white supremacy is the
Yeah, and of course climate change migration, which is what's happening right now on the southern border. The farmers in Guatemala can't grow crops. Honduras even more hard hit because of climate change.
biggest threat to America. I don't know. I think China, Russia, North Korea, the Iranian mullahs might be bigger threats, radical Islamic terrorism.
Those are not physical threats. Not physical threats, Sean.
What's your reaction to that answer?
Well, he said that the military told him and the general.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Who is this man? Who is talking on the phone right now? Trump is correct. Everybody, it's 8:03 p.m. on the 16th of June, 2021. Trump just said something that is actually correct. Wow. Let's go back. I want to hear this again. We're just going to replay this over and over again. I am shocked and stunned. I don't know where he's going to go with this sentence, but this is interesting.
I don't know. I think China, Russia, North Korea, the Iranian mullahs might be bigger threats, radical Islamic terrorism. What's your reaction to that answer?
Well, he said that the military told him and the generals that, which was, I can't believe that, but.
Okay, well, okay, so that's what he said, but this is Trump's take on that is not, okay, that is an actual serious threat, and that is what they've also told me. He just can't believe it.
Maybe, but they shouldn't be working.
Oh, maybe. Now it's maybe because they have told him that. Many, many times people have told him climate change provides an existential crisis for the United States over and over again. And what does he do? He pulls out the climate change agreement, the Paris Climate Accord, claiming that it's going to cost thousands of jobs, even though there's no obligations in it.
As generals any longer that global warming is our biggest threat. Now,
that's climate change.
When you look at China and you look at the military apparatus, which I was really doing a big job on, I have a very good relationship there too, and was a fantastic relationship until COVID or the.
But couldn't get to the bottom of the COVID thing because at the beginning I was saying, you know what? Thank you, President Xi. You're working so hard. You're being so transparent. You're the best, President Xi.
China virus came in. And after that, we made a great trade deal with the farmers of this country and the manufacturers.
We made a great trade deal. We put on some tariffs, and our farmers got so much money, and the Chinese stopped building the islands and it stopped the military, and everything was peaceful. And if I had just had one more term, the world would have been flowers everywhere, and that global warming would have become global perfect temperaturing everywhere on the planet, equilateral, down the equator. That's what the equator is called the equator for, because it's equal. And we'd all be living on the equator. It'd be so beautiful. And we'd never see anything like it in history. And so many people are saying.
Doing fantastically because of that trade deal. Farmers are doing better than they've ever done now. And that's because of what I did, not because of what these guys did. And we did a fantastic thing. But when you look at it and when you look at what happened, Sean, and you see that horrible thing that came at us from China and came
coronavirus, COVID-19. There's a number of things you could call it.
At us from the Wuhan.
There's so many names you can call that city. You could call it 19 different names. Wuhan, Wuhani, Wuhama, Wuhan.
It changed.
Cinderella story.
Changed my whole line of thinking, and you just, I really hope and I believe it was an accident. It was incompetence. I guess some people don't necessarily agree with that. They think maybe there was purpose to it, which would be absolutely terrible. But we have to find out more about it. Why did it happen? How did it happen? How could anybody be so incompetent? And that is not a group of incompetent people. So,
Mr. President,
Hey, Joshua. We haven't even touched Biden's question and answers today, so I don't think we're going to get to it. Some people have to go to sleep at some point here.
Add one thing here.
Oh, is he Milan? Is Joey Biden doing his thing? Hold on a second here. Let's, I bet I can pull it up right now. Give me a second here. Let's see. Tinder, kitty porn, YouTube. There it is. Let's go live and let's see what's going on live. There's swimming finals. We could watch that. We really can't. You're watching something delayed, Joshua. But yeah, there was a meeting with Putin today.
I believe it. I believe it was a terrible accident, but I believe it came from the lab. And
why would you think it's an accident?
By the way, Biden was calling for more transparency from China back in February of 2020. Well, Trump was still praising President Xi for his cooperation and transparency. Well, the WHO and the CDC were being kicked out of China. And the president was the president at the time. And his name was Donald John Trump, who went on to have a very, very successful career as a 28-day blogger. He really reached the pinnacle and then stopped at the top. And that's what you like to see. You love it when an athlete walks away in their prime. Sean Hannity just asked, why do you think it was an accident?
We knew there was actually video out now of bats in the Wuhan virology lab. We knew that they studied coronaviruses, and we now know from the emails from the great Dr. Fauci, flip-flopper, that gain-of-function research was being
Great sippy cup Dr. Fauci.
Done there. So it seems like the most logical conclusion. The only question is there a possibility that U.S. tax dollars help pay for the gain-of-function leading to COVID-19?
Well, we ended that, Sean, and when we heard about it, I ended that, but that started in 2014 under Obama, and when I heard about...
No, it stopped in 2014 under Obama. It was restarted under you. Gain of function. No, the United States paid for the collection of coronaviruses from bats. That's what the United States paid for, so that we would have the viruses so that we could theoretically ward off a future pandemic or epidemic, either one. That's what the United States was paying for. Many different organizations paid for many different things. A report was written in which all of those organizations were thanked for their help for something that was doing not gain of function, not making a virus more virulent, but altering viruses so that they might be infectious to people, so that if a virus actually did mutate naturally in the wild, we would be ready for it. We would have the vaccines ready to go. And as it turns out, that's pretty much what happened. Not that the virus mutated naturally. We don't know that. Not that the virus was released from the lab, but that when the virus actually came around, we had done so much research on coronaviruses and their RNA, which is DNA for a virus, that the mRNA vaccines were created in a weekend. Yeah, it took them a weekend.
We ended it very rapidly. I said, can you imagine? And
They didn't. It was renewed under Trump. It's complete opposite of the truth.
it wasn't even Wuhan. It was just that we were paying China.
Yeah, we don't know. Is Jon Stewart right? No, we don't know. Nobody, well, somebody knows. Well, maybe not. Actually, theoretically, nobody knows on the planet. It's possible somebody knows. If it was released intentionally, no, nobody would do that. Why would you release a superbug in your own country? Who would do that? Oh yeah, we want to hurt the Americans. Let's release a virus on our people. Let's risk the possibility of killing 1 billion people in our own country.
On top of everything else, we're now paying for their research and other things ridiculous. So we ended that soon.
But the research is for humanity. Okay? The bats happen to live in China. Speaking of natural resources and mineral rights and land use.
As we heard about it.
Hi, Jennifer.
We did a lot of things against China. Not that I want to be against China, because I had a great relationship with President Xi, a lot of respect for him. But I banned China from coming into the country very early.
Here's the other thing about this whole, we know it's true because 3 scientists got sick and went to the hospital. First off, the there's doctors that we've trusted for years who are well known in the international community. One of them was in the New York Times Sunday or Monday, and said that we don't know anything about 3 doctors who got sick. Secondly, there are 2 different labs in Wuhan, and no one seems to pay any attention to that. There's a level 4 research lab, and there's a level 2 research lab. Level 4 being the ultra top secret, level 2 being like this is a scientific place, but not necessarily with all the protocols of a level 4. And the intelligence point that came out said that the 3 sick people were from the level 2 lab, but this sort of research would have been happening at the level 4 lab. So how could they have caught something from the other lab? Anyway, and the people at the level 2 lab have come out and said, we don't know anything about 3 lab scientists. Do we know that they worked on it? Do we know that they had COVID symptoms? But the report from the intelligence community says that might have happened. So we just don't know. We have nothing concrete. And the reason we don't have anything concrete is because President Trump didn't do his fucking job at the time. Because he's a great personal friend with President Xi, and he got along with him so well, and he kept saying things like, hey, we're thanking him for his transparency. He's doing a wonderful job. President Xi is working so hard. He told me so. I had a conversation, and he complimented me on my leadership. Anyway, pretty soon, it's going to be close to 0. It's going to go away magically with the heat in April. 616,145,000 dead. Pretty close to 0.
Before anybody, Fauci and Nancy Pelosi was dancing in the streets of
January
Chinatown and San
31st.
Francisco, and they were all saying...
At the same time, you were saying that we've got it handled. It's not a problem. It's one case coming from China. So what, Nancy Pelosi listened to you? Is that her culpability?
What I did was xenophobic and horrible and racist. And then they said 4 months later, I saved thousands and thousands of lives. But I banned China from coming in. And it's lucky I did. And then I banned Europe from coming in because you saw what was happening, especially in certain countries in Europe. And I banned Europe from coming in. And everybody said that was terrible. But we...
No, they didn't all say it was terrible. First off, they flew their kids back from Europe. Secondly, Dr. Fauci was the one who recommended that to you. And since then, you've been saying that this was all your idea. Dr. Fauci didn't want to do it. But we have video of that.
Saved tens of thousands of lives. And now we have to get back, and the schools have to get open. And frankly, we're lucky we have the vaccine, but the vaccine on very young people is something that you got to...
No. Do not. Do not go there.
Really stop. You have to get back to running your...
Oh, fuck.
And now we have to get back, and the schools have to get open. And frankly, we're lucky we have the vaccine, but the vaccine on very young people is something that you got to really stop. You have to get back to running.
Just so everyone watching knows, I am doing this as political commentary as part of fair use. I am not endorsing what the president just said. I know I'm a devious liberal, and I'm going to capture this on video right now, but we're going to go back. We're going to watch this again. I do not stop vaccinating children. Do not.
But I banned China from coming in. And it's lucky I did. And then I banned Europe from coming in because you saw what was happening, especially in certain countries in Europe. And I banned Europe from coming in. And everybody said that was terrible. But we saved tens of thousands of lives. And now we have to get back, and the schools have to get open. And frankly, we're lucky we have the vaccine. But the vaccine on very young people is something that you got to really stop. You have to get back to running your country. I mean, I don't see reasons, and I am a big believer in what we did with the vaccine. It's incredible what we did. You see the results. But to have every school child, where it's 99.99%, they just don't, they're just not affected or affected badly, having to receive a vaccine, I think is something that you should start thinking about because I think it's unnecessary.
You want China to pay $10 trillion, don't you?
We're going to follow the science. Going to protect your kids from this disease that, by the way, the Delta variant is killing kids. You saw that little green in the corner, up in the top corner above me? That's me stopping and starting. I'm not editing the video. I just captured it. I'm not putting his words together. We just watched it 3 times together. I'm sure Asen's already posted this. I can't even look at Twitter. My account's locked. Hold on. Let me see. Let me go to Twitter here and see if I'm even logged in on this other browser. Sign up, log in. I just want to see though. Twitter.com/Asen. Does this work? Yeah, it does. Okay, let's see if he's posted it already. It's from 14 minutes ago. This is from, so Laura Ingram's already on. Oh yeah, we're way past this. Windmills kill everything. Intern. I'm just trying to see if Asen caught this. Windmills. Yeah, okay, yeah, Aaron retweeted it again. Okay, so they've got that. So we're covered there. Thank God for Twitter, from which I'm currently blocked.
Well, the number is much higher than that, but there's only so much they can pay, and that's to us. And the world is, the number is bigger throughout the world. Look, countries have been destroyed over what they did. And whether by accident or not, and I would hope that it was accident. I hope that it was through incompetence or an accident. But when you look, whether it was by an accident, whether it was whatever it is, you look at these countries, they'll never, ever be the same. Our country was hit so hard, but other countries were hit much harder. Look at what's going on in India now. You know, they used to say, oh, look how well India's doing, because they were always looking for an excuse. Look how well India...
An excuse to what? To knock you? So they used India as, look how well India's doing. Yeah, now they got the Delta variant. And now, by the way, now we have the Delta variant. 10% of new cases in this country. 35 states the last time I checked. It's in more states than that. We just haven't found it yet because we have never gotten our testing to where it should be. Ever. We do not test for strains for the most part. Only a tiny, tiny fraction of what we do in terms of testing is looking at the strains. I do not know what strain my friend currently has, who's been fully vaccinated. I would hope that with people who say, I am fully vaccinated, who test positive, I hope they're asking. And they hope that those tests get tested. So if a virus comes along with this, or sorry, if a strain comes along that is a breakthrough strain on a massive scale, we can adjust. I don't know that they're doing that.
The fact
These giant headphones are hurting my ears.
is that India's just been devastated now, and virtually every country has been devastated. No, I think that's one of the reasons that I feel it's very important to find out where it came from, how it came. I think I know. I mean, I feel certain about it. But certainly China should help. Right now, their economy...
By the way, India is doing much, much better. Let's take a look at India very quickly. This is just the Google stats right here. So yeah, they peaked way up here and now they're way down, but they're still, the 7-day average is still 77,000 per day. So we'll just do a quick USA COVID and see what our 7-day average is now. And our average now is about 10,000. So 7-day average is about 13,000. So India is still getting hammered, but it has come down from its peak, which is good news. Good news. By the way, this is when Trump. This is all during Trump. So you know.
Economy and our economy are the two economies that are coming back the fastest. I mean, if you think about it, in certain ways, maybe they benefited very greatly. I mean, very, very greatly. And I can tell you they benefited with the U.S. because we were in a process of doing things where we caught up to China at a level that nobody thought was possible. And once the China virus came in, we had to take a very different look. You know, the world changed. The whole world changed. You didn't think about the economics. You thought about saving people and saving lives. So the world changed. It was a different...
Well, wait. So it was good to shut down? Because you got to think about saving lives and not about the economics? Who are you?
It was a whole different ball game. We did the great trade deal, a big piece of it, but we did the great trade deal, and it helped a lot of people, manufacturers and farmers in particular.
Right, but then they ignored it before the ink was even dry. Remember? This is what you've said multiple times.
But But after that horrible disease floated in from China, however it came in, and it came in through numerous ways, once that disease came in from China, I had a whole different attitude. It was a terrible thing.
Let me go back to the campaign, and I'm going to play a tape for you here. I've compared Joe Biden. I've shown video of him from 2012, 2016. He lived in his basement bunker throughout most of the campaign.
Oh, so now we're going to attack Sippy Cup Joe for being incoherent.
Campaign in 2020, I used to argue he was in the big tech media mob protection program, and they let him hide and get away without answering many questions. Did the bare minimum of anybody campaigning.
And he won.
And I have a highlight reel that I put together, but I'm saving that for another day. But this happened at the G7. Joe's had a lot of these cognitive misfires, let's call it that. And this is the one that he had, because he had called Putin a killer. Then he was asked about it. He didn't want to give that answer because he's about to meet with Putin. And your reaction to Joe, and do you think he's up to the job physically, mentally? Let me play this.
Vladimir Putin laughed at the suggestion that you had called him a killer. Is that still your belief, sir, that he is a killer?
To answer the first question, I'm laughing too. They actually, well, look, I mean, he has made clear that the answer is...
Okay, so he paused to think very carefully about how he would phrase this, what he should say to the world with the media present there, because that's what you're saying it to. This gets shown all over the world. So he paused to think about what he was going to say, and then he says something.
I believe he has in the past essentially acknowledged that he was... there are certain things that he would do or did do.
Yeah, that is a correct answer. So he thought about what to say, and that's what he said. Okay. By the way, those crickets are piped in. There weren't actually crickets there making that much noise. Just so you know.
I do make fun of it, but in all seriousness, Mr. President, that scares the hell out of me.
Why? Because he thinks and then says things? You like it when Trump doesn't think and just says stuff. If this happens, it's going to be very, very bad. No. That was how long he paused for. But when you put the crickets in there, it makes it seem much longer. Take a guess, guys. I just counted that, by the way, as it was happening. Take a guess how many seconds that was that he paused.
Have you noticed the same thing I see?
Well, maybe the only time I've ever disagreed with you is about the age, because I guess Joe is going on to be 79 fairly soon. And that's not old, relatively speaking. I know Bernie Marcus, a great gentleman, founder of Home Depot.
Bernie Sanders is older.
He's 100%. I spoke to him. He's 100%.
Bernie Marcus. Oh, Bernie Sanders. Hannity's got to get his piece. But Bernie Sanders as well. Bernie, that's another Bernie who's old. Every Bernie is old. Judges agree. Yeah, it was just over 5 seconds of actual time that he paused. But I've heard multiple commentators say like a 20-second pause, a 10-second pause. Yeah, was it a pause? Yes, it was a pause. He stopped to consider. Here's your key adversary on the planet. This is a man you're meeting with tomorrow, a man who has an intelligence service that dissects everything you say. You're having a meeting with this man tomorrow. In the past, you've called him a killer. Is he a killer? Here's the thing. That was fine. That was the same amount of time as he just paused. Bernie Madoff is also old.
100%, and other people are in their 90s and 80s, and they're doing great. So, his age is not the problem. And look, I hope he has no problems. I want him to do well. I want him to go out and do well. I think
that's the other. It's Trump is old too. He just turned like 75 or 76 yesterday. I don't even know. I don't care. Yesterday, Flag Day, whatever day it was. It was Flag Day. But I don't know. It could have been 3-4 days ago. I don't know. June something. Come on. Flag Day? That's a thing? Bernie was much older. He had been dead for several days. And his Rick and Morty had already set in on him. So he was all stiff. And people, they went in a boat. If you can believe that. No one had ever seen anything like it. But they got away with it because they were scamps.
The election was unbelievably unfair, but I want this guy to go out and do well for our country. I don't want to see a scene like that. I watched that yesterday. I thought it was terrible. It was terrible. Nobody knew what was happening.
Let me move on to the economy. We now have inflation.
Bernie Mac's 135. Black don't crack, baby. Is that Bernie Mac saying? Like, I don't even know where that came from. But yeah, no, Bernie Mac, I saw him do stand-up 85 years ago, something like that. He's super funny. Like, if a crowd is on his side, there is so much energy in that room. If you get the chance, I don't know if Bernie's still around, but if you get the chance, go see old Bernie Mac. It's very funny.
We now have jobs that people aren't taking, and businesses now are turning down the federal government's extended unemployment benefits. The price of lumber through the roof. The price of gas.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the states that have eliminated the money from the government, giving it back to the people who need it the most, who've been paying taxes their whole life. So, hey, thanks for making this the greatest country on earth. Your taxes have contributed to that, and we really appreciate it, and you're in trouble right now. We would like you to have some of your money back in order to help get you through this very difficult time. Some states, all of them Republican states, have now eliminated that money that belongs to the people. You're not getting that money. I know you don't have a job right now, but you're not getting that money because you refuse to work at Arby's. That's where we are. By the way, I have been going around to the different locations here in Los Angeles. Everybody's got employees. I think I went one place where they were shutting down an hour earlier than usual. They're making it's okay. It's okay.
Up an average $1.10 per gallon. The price to heat and cool your home is up. The price of meat is skyrocketing. Lumber is skyrocketing.
No, lumber's come back down again. He's behind the times. Lumber futures are right back down where they should be. So they did spike and they came back down. A big part of the problem that nobody ever talks about is the fact that there are tons of ships. In LA, there's like 20 ships. I don't know how many exactly today. But they're just sitting off because we don't have the space to unload them yet. Off of Whidbey Island up in Seattle, the ships are there and they're parked so close to the island that the people on the island who live on Whidbey Island, which is a very special place. By the way, Whidbey Island, very cool. The people on Whidbey Island can't sleep at night because these ships make so much noise just keeping the generators going, etc., the ships humming, and they're parked so close because they're in this narrow part of the Puget Sound that they're keeping the people on. But there's 16 ships off of San Francisco, the last time I looked, that are just sitting, that can't come through the Golden Gate to get unloaded because there's already too many ships. The whole global supply chain is screwed up. And a lot of that had to do with the Suez Canal, the guy being stuck there for a while. It's got nothing to do with Joe Biden. It's got to do with COVID now has vaccines, and we can go back to living and go back to purchasing things, and we all want to purchase stuff. But there's a shortage because everybody now wants to do stuff again, and people have some money saved up, and there's been government stimuluses, etc., and that's a good thing. Yeah, it's going to take you a little bit longer to get your stuff. But I'll be honest with you. So our friend producer Jojo belongs to a tennis club. It's not a fancy tennis club. When I say tennis club, I've come to the conclusion now that people think you're all hoity-toity if you say tennis club. What it is, it's 4 courts, just like a public course, but you have to be a member, and it's not expensive at all. You don't have to, it's not $25,000 to join this club. there's a little, not even a house. The clubhouse is just, it's a kitchen, right? It's a kitchenette. There's a couple of bathrooms. There's no showers right now. They're putting in showers. That's the club. You can't go and like, there's no bar to order alcohol. There's no restaurant. There's no swimming pool. Anyway, what I'm saying is at this club, we have a ball machine and the ball machine is broken. And so it got sent back to the ball machine place and they can't fix it yet because they don't have the parts because there's a shortage of parts. So this is affecting me. This has to stop, Biden, if you're listening. Right now, Sippy Cup Biden, this is affecting my access to a tennis ball machine. If you're watching from Europe, a Netzing ball machine. This is where it hits home, folks. It's all fun and games until it affects someone you love. If you'd like to contribute to my fund to join another tennis club, there's another one that's got the lights and stuff and the fancy valet and stuff. I believe the initiation is $48,000. There's a waiting list, but it'll probably if I double it, if I pay, so I need $88,000. If you'd like to contribute, there's the Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, anything helps. Specifically, if it's $88,000, please. If you were going to donate to the Books and Bricks later in the year, use that money now. Because if I don't have a ball machine, I have to keep playing Netzing with other people. Like I have to have people hitting it to me. I don't want to have to deal with other people. I might get COVID. Thank you. Babe understands. Kevin has to go there every day and throw balls at people, and now his arm hurts. Well, my arm hurts from the vaccine, but that's only because like I walk by the fridge and stuff, and like boom, I'm up against the fridge because of the magnetism. Just the one arm though. So the right arm's okay. That's what I play with. It's all right. So that's not that big of a problem, but you're right, babe. Thank you for pointing that out. Jennifer says, hey, I have a heater out in my kitchen because my landlord can't replace it because they can't get a replacement. It's coming from China. Yes! Thank you, Jennifer. Thoughts and prayers. But yeah, there's all kinds of things like bicycles since the beginning of the pandemic, etc. But yeah, there's all kinds of problems with the supply chain. Let's watch.
That you buy in any store that is delivered by a truck, you are paying a lot more for. And I'm looking at it, and we're getting rid of energy independence, which you gave us as president for the first time in 75 years.
Nope.
What is your take on the state of the economy?
No. You cannot complain about canceling a pipeline that brings in foreign oil and then brag about energy independence. You can't. We are energy independent, but by the way, we are not energy independent. We haven't been energy independent. That's a false understanding of how energy works. And then get so upset that we don't get our Canadian oil.
Economy and the impact the current border crisis has on it, and I'll do a follow-up on that.
Well, we need the people. We need the people. There are 9.3 million jobs. That's like never before in history. That's under Biden. He's created 9.3 million open positions, and we need people to fill those positions. But what we don't want is people coming into this country to fill those positions. Good night, Stephanie.
Lumber is really a function of supply and demand. We have so much.
That's actually correct. That is correct. And the lumber is a function of tariffs as well. Remember those? Tariffs that Trump put in. That has effect.
Much, but they're putting environmental restrictions on trees.
Marcy says Canadian oil tastes like maple. That is correct. And that's also part of the lumber crisis, is they were getting the oil from the maple trees in Quebec.
Now that are so bad, and we're trying to make deals with Canada. I can tell you from personal experience, Canada is very, very tough. Canada is as tough as anybody.
Yeah.
It's very unfair the way Canada treats us, and I had it down to a science.
Our biggest trading partner. We have a surplus with Canada. When you calculate it in, including the service industry, the U.S. actually makes money off of Canada. But oh, it's so tough.
It was so good. We were doing so well. Everything was coming down. We signed the USMCA, Mexico, Canada, but we were not being taken advantage of anymore. And I was going to tariff the hell out of their cars coming into the United States if they did, and they knew it.
So that prices would rise for the American people?
And as soon as I left, they started playing games, and now
All the American cars, by the way, which are built in Canada, these are American companies.
you look at lumber prices, because we get a lot from Canada, and you look at what's going on with milk and the fact that they don't take us, but we take them.
Just listen to what his sentences come out to be here. Go.
Coming into the United States if they did, and they knew it. And as soon as I left, they started playing games, and now you look at lumber prices, because we get a lot from Canada, and you look at what's going on with milk and the fact that they don't take us.
And you look at what's going on with milk and the fact that they don't take us. Come on, Canada. Take a look at what's going on with milk. Start taking us. Start taking us, Canada. Brotherhood.
But
I know what he means. But there are words to be used to make meaning time together. Spaces.
take them.
He's such a fucking weirdo. My nose looks really big on this camera. Or maybe I just have a big nose. I don't know. Who knows?
So many things they did to Farmer that I straightened out, and now...
So many did the thing they did to Farmer? Who's Farmer? He's getting wacky. I'm getting wacky. Let's listen to all of that again. I want to hear about so many things they did to Farmer.
And as soon as I left, they started playing games, and now you look at lumber prices, because we get a lot from Canada.
I'm actually going to enjoy this.
But we were not being taken advantage of anymore, and I was going to tariff the hell out of their cars coming into the United States if they did, and they knew it. And as soon as I left, they started playing games, and now you look at lumber prices, because we get a lot from Canada, and you look at what's going on with milk and the fact that they don't take us, but we take them. So many things they did to Farmer that I straightened out, and now it's going back to worse than it was, because there's nobody there complaining about it. No, Canada treats this country very, very badly. So does Europe, by the way, and China you know about. But as I say, in many ways, Europe treats it...
Canada, take a look at how you're treating the farmer, okay? Canada doesn't have much population. There's one person who's a farmer. So yeah, take a look at that, Canada. Be nice to Gord.
It's just as badly as China.
Let me ask this question, and I want
quick quiz. Every guy in Canada is named Gord. What is his wife's name? What is Gord the farmer that Canada's been treating so badly? Take a look at that. What is Gord's wife's name? The name of every woman in Canada besides Babe.
I want to ask it, and I'll ask you about 2022 and 2024 in a minute. It seems to me that
Oh yeah, he's going to tell you.
Conservatism, and I remember...
By the way, the Republicans, there's going to be, coming up on the midterms, there's going to be a movement to make sure the Republicans win so they can make Trump the Speaker of the House. And theoretically then, all they have to do is impeach Biden and impeach Harris, and then Trump will get to be president because he's third in line as the Speaker of the House. But it's mathematically impossible because you can't convict Biden and Harris because you need 2/3 of the Senate, and we know that that's really hard to do. Why do we know that? Because it's never happened. Sheila is correct. I knew that the Canadian would get it correct. It is Sheila. Gord is married to Sheila, and they live on the farm in Personatoba. Those damn Canadian wokies.
And maybe...
That's what they call woke people in Canada, wokies.
You do it or you don't. When you were thinking about running for president, times that I'd interview you and private conversations we'd have at the time...
When is America going to catch a break? You're right, Greg. Canada, China, Europe, all picking on it. It's so unfair. So unfair.
Explain what I believed in.
Babe. A. Karen A. It's an A joke for Canada. I'm very disappointed with you, Babe. I was thrilled with you for a moment, but the whole going, I mean, that's low-hanging fruit. And we don't do that on this show.
I really haven't.
Did I mention my nose looks big on this camera if I do this, especially if I do this? Did you guys knows about that? Anyway, we don't do low-hanging fruit. You guys knows that.
Change much. I believe in liberty, freedom, capitalism, our
Same thing.
Constitution, low taxes, less.
I believe in liberty, freedom, doing what you want to do, staying out of prison, having rights, liberty, and being free.
Government.
I don't know why he sounds like Trump now, but that's what it sounds like.
Interference, bureaucracy.
Sorry's very Canadian, babe. So you forgive him.
A constitutionalist on the bench, school choice, law and order, safety and security so people can pursue happiness, free market solutions for.
So that's liberty.
For health care, including protecting pre-existing conditions. I want secure borders.
I would love the healthcare thing. I am totally with you on that, Hannity. Any day now, it's been 2 weeks, I believe, Trump is going to announce his tremendous healthcare plan. That's the thing. Remember the tremendous healthcare plan? We got to get rid of the state lines. A lot of states did. You know how many health insurance companies flooded into those states? Zero. There's no incentive for them to do so.
I absolutely, positively want.
He was in office for 4 years. We never got his health care plan. Ever. That's a basic human condition, is the need for health care. How can anyone support Trump? Just look at the health care. We were promised the health care. We never got the health care. We never did in 4 years. I said, thank you, Jennifer. Let's go back like 5 minutes in our head. And I'm liberty, freedom, the right to do what you want to do, bibberty. Thank you, Jennifer. That's Jennifer's joke, by the way. And I can't believe I didn't say it. Because I've said it on Twitter many times. Let's look it up together. I can't look at my Twitter.
Energy independence for a lot of reasons, and free and fair trade and peace through strength. That pretty much sums up Sean Hannity's philosophy. It was talk that you are considering maybe
Bibberty.
Laying out the Trump America First, Make America Great Again agenda. How close is my lifelong held belief?
Why is he talking? This is not a question. Why? He's just filling up time right now. By the way, this is a fair use look at the parts of the Sean Hannity program. This is not the entire program. If you're interested in watching the entire program in its entirety so that Fox News somehow benefits from it, please indulge yourself on your local Fox News station. Actually, Fox News Nationwide, whatever this is.
Beliefs to what you would put on paper if you ever considered it, and are you considering it?
Well, I am, and frankly, if you think of it, that's what I've been doing and talking about for a long time, and I guess that's why we got them by surprise in 16, and in 20 we did much better than we did in 16, and shockingly, we were supposed to win easily at 64 million votes, and we got 75 million votes, and we didn't win, but let's see what happens on that. The whole thing is shocking, but
we didn't win. He just said he didn't win the election. He's been saying that he won the election by a lot, by a landslide. He just said we didn't win the election. What?
You would put on paper if you ever considered it, and are you considering it?
Well, I am, and frankly, if you think of it, that's what I've been doing and talking about for a long time, and I guess that's why we got them by surprise in 16, and in 20 we did much better than we did in 16, and shockingly, we were supposed to win easily at 64 million votes, and we got 75 million votes, and we didn't win, but let's see what happens on that. The whole thing is shocking, but it's common sense. Look, when you talk about a strong military, when you talk about the economy, when you talk about we don't want inflation, inflation's going to kill the economy. By the way, now you're going to see very soon a big interest rate increase all of a sudden, which is, that's step one. I don't know if you remember during the Carter administration where the prime rate went up to 20.
Okay, I recorded that because he was talking about the election and he just said he lost. But then now he's talking about interest rates. And now, oh, sorry, now he's talking about the Carter administration. What? I just gave up on the recording because I was really hoping he was going to go somewhere with that and say something ridiculous. But we have to cover the Carter administration because that was the question, right? Hannity said, let's lead into something to do with the Carter administration, with the inflation and the gas lines. Can we do that?
1%. I was there.
Hey, Dave.
Hey,
welcome back, Joanna.
I was there.
Well, I was there too.
For the primary.
Yeah.
That's a prime, and you couldn't get anything. It was the economy came to a halt. And you know, when you look at
you could get things during the Carter administration. The economy did not come to a halt. There was a recession, but the economy did not come to a halt. And how did Reagan get out of that recession? By spending government money, right, on the military. One of the ways. I mean, there's a natural economy segment. But anyway, Reagan way overspent on the military. We came into the 80s as the world's largest debtee. We left the 80s as the world's largest debtor. Or the opposite, depending on how you look at it. If you use the words correctly, the opposite.
You mentioned lumber.
Reagan started our national debt spiral. All by himself on spending money by the military. Now, he outspent the Soviet Union, and the Soviet Union crumbled. So good, that worked out well. But we never stopped with our ridiculous spending until Bill Clinton came along. And then we had a surplus. And then George Bush came along. The Republicans came back in, and now no one cares about the frickin' debt.
But when you look at, we no longer will.
No, he is the president. He was the president at the time. And if you're talking about the time, you can call him the president. He's not the current president. He's a former blogger, but you can still call him President Trump. That is correct to address somebody. You address them by the highest position that they held, just as we say Secretary Clinton or President Clinton.
Will be energy independent within a matter of weeks. They're closing down everything. It's what's happening is not to be believed. I'll tell you, the biggest beneficiary is Russia and Saudi Arabia.
Oh my God, he said beneficiary correctly. Typically, he said beneficiaries.
Yeah, and the Middle East. I mean, these people, they're going to make more money than they've ever made. You know, they talk about me with Russia. I get along with Putin. I had a good relationship with Putin, but I was so tough. Look what...
Well, Hannity says that he's a murderer and stuff. That's what he was saying earlier in the show, which we're not going to cover. If you'd like to see the whole show, this is just snippets of the show, just portions of it, and we're looking at it through using fair use. We're having a town hall discussion with you in the chat room. But if you'd like to see him saying how bad Vladimir Putin was, Putin. That wasn't even intentional that time. That he's a murderer. That's what Sean Hannity believes. I'm sure he's going to now confront President Trump. Why do you say you got along so well with Vladimir Putin? The man is a murderer. Joe Biden gave him a stage today. That's what they said. They gave him a stage. But he's a murderer.
They've done. They will make Russia so rich because of what's happening. When I left, it was $1.87 a gallon for a gallon of gas. Now it's over $3. It's going to go up to $5, $6, or $7. Mark my words.
Yeah, well, you said the GDP was going to be 6% under you, and before COVID, it was 2.3%. So I'm not going to mark your words. I'll mark them F.
And that's bigger than.
And remember, you said we were going to get health care as well. You said that was good. Mark your words.
Than any tax increase you could give. You could triple people's taxes.
Yeah, I think we're almost done. Yeah, we're almost done with this. So we'll wrap this up shortly because Rusty wants to go for a walk. Say hi to Rusty for me.
That costs more money for the middle-income people. Much more money. And
Plus, Handmaid's Tale is on tonight. So, I think. Is it Tuesday night? It's Wednesday. Handmaid's Tale came out yesterday. I got to watch Handmaid's Tale. I think it's the last one of the season. Pretty sure it's the last one. I don't know. I can't remember if I fell asleep during that. So Handmaid's Tale started off pretty good. Okay, we're not going to talk about that. Let's finish this.
Frankly, for our country, it's a disaster. It's going to stop everything. And we had so much. I mean, we had a point where we were getting the fuel for zero. In fact, they would give you $38 if you took it. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Now
that is true, except the $38. Except the $38 part. This is also when the world was shut down because of COVID and nobody needed the fuel. Now, what Trump did, though, is he topped off the strategic reserves, which is very, very good. See, even though I'm a devious liberal, I will give somebody credit, even if it's Trump, when they do something good. That was a good thing. Hey, oil's free right now. We'll take as much as we can. Fill up the tanks. Good. Very, very good.
Straighten that out because that would have hurt our industry. But we ended up having a great energy industry, and we ended up with low prices. And now we're not going to be, within a matter of weeks, we will no longer be energy independent. And we are going to.
We are not energy independent.
Be relying again on the Middle East and Russia.
And Canada. Except no, we didn't. We canceled that pipeline. Okay. Remember how bad Canada is? The way that they treat the farmer? At least be consistent.
And all of these other people, because we are being led very, very stupidly. And I said this during the debates, and people didn't listen. But
hey, who's seen Danielle lately? I haven't seen Danielle, our moderator, in a long time. Is Danielle okay? Has anyone seen her lately?
I said it during the debates. But actually, people did listen, and they voted properly. And that's the way it goes. But they lied. You know, they didn't talk this. They never said, this is a Bernie Sanders dream, what's happening right now. He can't believe it, because this is far worse than Bernie was ever going to be. Bernie Sanders would have never even thought to suggest some of the things that are happening right now.
Let's look at the border, and the stay in Mexico policy is gone. Border wall construction has stopped. Catch and release is back. It's really just catch and we'll send you to one of the states, free transportation. You see, we're up dramatically, nearly 200,000 illegal immigrants a month, and they're just being processed. And that opens up other areas of the border for cartels, human smugglers, drug smugglers. Your take on how to fix this?
So we had the most secure border in the history of our country, southern border.
We didn't.
In the history of our country, it's never been so good. It was hard getting it there because we had to win lots of lawsuits, and that included on the wall. The wall would have been finished within months. All of the material is sitting right there.
That's not true.
Rotting.
Okay, steel doesn't rot. It's sitting there rotting. It's not wood.
Stopped it like very early, first, second.
I can't. It's the material for the wall. First off, it's not all sitting there. It's not rotting. Concrete and steel don't rot. It's sitting there in the wet conditions of the Texas summer, just rotting.
Second, third day.
Is that, when steel rusts, do you call that rot? Is that technically a thing? I don't know. The wall needs to be raked on a regular basis, or you're going to end up with fires. You're going to end up with tremendous forest fires along the wall.
They stopped it. Now they want to.
Someone look that up. I want to. If I'm incorrect on this, fine. Does steel rot?
Start it again, which is interesting. Go tell the contractors that. But it was sitting there, and now it's sitting there rusting.
Rusting. Yes, it is probably rusting. Whether it's been built or not, it's rusting. That's what metal does in the outdoors with the wind and the rain and the sunshine.
It's a shame.
So whether they put it up or not doesn't make a difference. It's still going to rust. By the way, if it's just sitting there, much of it is not rusting because it's not exposed. It's piled up, and there's a whole bunch of really good steel underneath.
It took us 2.5 years to win all the lawsuits, and it was almost complete. And then
why didn't they use stainless steel?
They came in and they stopped it. And one of the reasons, though, still, we built almost 500 miles of wall. And one of the reasons we've been so successful is because even though it has gaps, which were easily closed, very easily, it has gaps. What happened is the wall was so good in terms of illegal immigration. And you mentioned things that people don't mention. Drug smuggling was down.
At random, just go. Go. Take Rusty for a walk. No one is keeping you here.
To the lowest point that it's been in years. And also human trafficking, usually of women, by the way. It's a vicious business, and it's a big business. And we had that down to the lowest point in years and years and years. And now it's worse than ever.
We have 3 minutes left. Let's talk about.
It is not worse than ever. It was worse in 2000, probably much worse before that, but we weren't keeping exact statistics on it. What we also could look at this way is that the Customs and Border Patrol are doing a much better job at apprehending the migrants. We don't know because we only can keep track of the ones that are apprehended. There could have been many, many, many migrants getting through in 2007 where there was no wall. We don't know. If they weren't apprehended, we don't know. So no one really knows the answers on the wall. But again, why is this happening? Do people just like, oh, I heard the wall stopped, I think I'll go to America? No, that's never the reason.
2022, and then the obvious question for 2024. 2022 seems like a bellwether year. You got the House in play. You got Florida Senate seat.
That's right, Greg. They were going to paint the wall with anti-climbing paint. They were going to make it, and the top was going to be super slippery, so nobody could get over. And then once you got to the top, even if you used a ladder, how would you get to the other side? Okay, maybe a rope. But yeah. And you could remember, there's video of toddlers being dropped over the wall. And surviving, by the way. The wall doesn't stop anybody. It never stopped anyone. If you can't complain and say, we were almost done with the wall and immigration it was the best it's ever been, and now, because the wall is the same as it was when immigration was the best it's ever been, now immigration's bad because the wall worked. It's got nothing to do with the wall.
Georgia Senate seat, North and South Carolina, you got New Hampshire, you got Wisconsin, you got Ohio, you got Arizona. If that's not a bellwether, I don't know. What do you anticipate your involvement?
If that's not a bellwether, I don't know. It's not. So correct, you do not know.
Involvement for 2022 will be. You started endorsing some people. You're going to be out on the road. And what are your thoughts of 2024? Will you be making a comeback?
So I'm very honored to say that my endorsement means more than any endorsement that has ever been given by anybody. I mean,
No.
We're winning. We just won.
Remember earlier when we saw him live the night before the election in Georgia, and both of the people that he endorsed in order to stop socialism, both senators, David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler, they both lost. Or in her case, Loft.
Republican Party chairman of.
So, no, not the greatest endorser in history. Far from it. Control of the government was at stake. This was going to be the stopgap of socialism. Socialism. Remember? It failed. The Democrats won control of the House. The Democrats won control of the Senate. Failed.
North Carolina and of Georgia and of other places. We just won 2 races in Texas. We won a great race in Louisiana. This is just intermediate to what's happening. I'll be working and getting a lot of great people elected. And, again, they go up 20, 30, 40 points sometimes. The fake news doesn't like talking about it. But
like the senators?
The numbers are really incredible. So
here he is in North Carolina on June 5th. What was that? Did he give a rally? That was the North Carolina convention. Okay.
I'm working on 22, getting a lot of good senators and a lot of good Congress people elected. And then we'll be making a decision on 2024. But if you look at the numbers, people are liking me more now than ever before. But
not true. The numbers are way down.
I think that's the reason is they're watching what.
Again, his blog got such low viewership that he got angry and canceled it after 28 days.
What's happening?
His blog.
Happening with our country. They're watching no energy independence. They're watching the border. Never has there been a scene like what's happening at the border and the death that's being caused. This isn't just border. This is death and criminals pouring into our country. They're looking at the economy. They're looking at inflation. They're looking at interest rates. They're looking at gasoline prices.
Yeah. The people who vote are looking at interest rates.
And I guess it's making me very popular.
Is there anything, and we have a minute left, if you do run in
That's
2024,
too long. That's too long.
what might you do differently? What do you know now that you didn't know in 2016?
Well, you know, we ran a very successful administration. We had the greatest economy in history. We had 160 million jobs. We were
Wait. Producer Joanna, there's 2 showers at the club now? At the little building, the kitchenette? Are the showers done? And is the ball machine done? Because that affects me directly. Because I don't shower. I mean, you guys know me.
Never even close to that. Nobody was ever even close to that. And we did it twice, because then we did it after the pandemic.
Wait a second, Joanna. Are you? I think Joanna's like an hour behind right now. I think she's just listening to the parts about the club. Joanna's not live, so she's now responding to what I was talking about with the tennis club. The tennis club with no lights.
Came with a vaccine. We did a lot of great things, and we did it after. But
I'm not knocking the tennis club. It's awesome. Okay? And I really appreciate being able to use the privileges of the membership, which is playing tennis. It's a fantastic place. Highly recommend it. But anyway, I think she's I think she's back like an hour ago. So welcome to the future when you get here, Joanna.
I was under siege with fake investigations and everything, and I was doing.
So, guys, if you're responding to JoJo, you're responding to stuff she said like an hour ago, so she's not going to see what you're writing until an hour from now.
This while I was under siege from phony people with phony Russia that was caused by Clinton and the DNC Democrats. And all of that, and we did it. We built Space Force. We rebuilt the military.
DNC Democrats, those are redundant.
We got the largest tax cut in history, the largest regulation cuts in history. Not even
Who
close.
knows?
We did ANWR, which they've already excluded, thanks to Murkowski in Alaska. And, it's what we've done was amazing. But I was under siege, so, some people said, gee, he wasn't very nice.
I think you can argue.
I was under siege from day one, Sean, so not nice.
I think you're still under siege, but thank you for spending the time with us.
I agree with you. I agree.
We appreciate you being with us. All right, let not your heart.
Okay, so that was just a portion of the Sean Hannity program. If you'd like to watch the entire thing, I encourage you to go to foxnews.com or somewhere else and find it for yourself. This is just fair use, public, blah, blah, blah. So, thanks, guys, for watching. To all of you on Twitter who are watching, you're not, because I'm blocked on Twitter right now. I'll sort that out. If you're part of the Black Eyes Peas, Will I Am, dude, you have my last name. My last name is Will I Am's. So, if you could not block my use of your music for political commentary, that would be also awesome. But that's okay. Actually, it's not. Black Eyed Peas has nothing to do with it. It's the UMG, Universal Music Group. I get it, and that's they're I'm fine with that. So I'll get myself back on the Twitters and I'll start tweeting once I find my coffee. I'm sure tomorrow Antifa's going to break into my house again and move it. Otherwise, if it's not Antifa, it's probably BLM. Tired of it. I'm tired of the suburbs being on fire. Out of fire extinguishers. You can't get them because they come from China. It's a nightmare. And that's what we're living with under. This is Biden's America. People moving my coffee around the house. And then they'll put it somewhere like, they put it on the bathroom counter. Like I was just in the bathroom and I go back in there and Antifa has moved it into the bathroom because they're that devious. Because they know he's not going to need to go to the bathroom again for another couple of hours. We'll put it in the bathroom. Like just as you walk in the bathroom, like if you had it in your hand, they would put it right where I would have placed it. Goddamn Antifa. All of you card-carrying Antifa members. Okay, kids, that's the end of the broadcast. There's more than 2 hours on just a Trump interview. And I still haven't had my barbecue pork, and it's now 9 o'clock, so I probably shouldn't eat now. But I don't care. I had a nap this afternoon. I'm in good shape. Guys, it's been a pleasure. We will talk at you later. I don't know if I'll cover the Biden-Putin thing, because really, as I said it would be, it was inconsequential. And then it was much ado about nothing. It was sound and fury signifying a nothing burger. Babe says, thanks, Kevin. Have a good night, everyone. You need to chain down your coffee, Kevin. That's smart. Good stuff. Those buggers will stop at nothing. Yeah. Or move to the city or maybe the country. I don't know. I just know that the suburbs have been destroyed now, and I wish I just had a place where people would not move my coffee. And I had the freedom and the liberty to talk about it on the Twitter. Guys, be safe, be nice to each other, and please, may you go with so much